All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for Civis Platform 101 training. Just as a note, we will be recording today's presentation and we'll be providing the recording and slides after. All right. So before we get started, we'll love to see who is joining us today. So if you like, please introduce yourself in the chat. So your name, pronouns, organization, and what brought you here today. My name is Ryan Jameson. I am a technical success analyst here at Civis. I've been here a little over 4 years. I probably, I know I've noticed some names on the call, so we probably interacted on the support queue before, but I help clients resolve their technical issues and get the most out of platform, just making sure like they're familiar with all the features and utilizing it and using best practices. All right. Thanks, Jay. Nice to have you here. All right. So we're going to go over some training norms. All right, I see the comments coming in. Thank you. Thank you, Rose, Laura, Abigail. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so just for some training norms, just to set expectations, we just ask that you please keep yourself muted to help us reduce background noise. Raise your hand or type questions into the chat if you have any. Also, feel free to ask other participants questions in the chat. This is a collaborative session. And we all have varying levels of platform knowledge on this call, so please ask questions. There is nothing too simple or too advanced. And one thing I also do want to note is that I know some people here may be using platform. We might have developed a custom platform, a custom application on top of platform for you that you interact with. So just know that if some of these things don't look familiar, these are the features that are powering that custom application that you may be using on top of Civis platform. All right, so on the agenda today, we're going to do an intro to Civis platform. We'll talk about navigating Civis platform. We'll go over some imports and exports, data analysis and transformations, Civis AI, and data visualizations. All right. I see people are still trickling in. So intro to Civis platform, we'll talk about who we are, what is Civis platform, and how teams use platform. So Civis platform uses data to provide organizations with a comprehensive understanding of the audiences they care about most. We enable nonprofits to target and measure their campaigns and programmatic efforts with precision. We bring the same innovative technology, discipline, transparency, speed, and accountability to commercial organizations, the public sector, and nonprofits around the world. And if you look at some of the logos, those are a subset of the clients that we've worked with. So Civis platform, what is it? It is a cloud-based data warehouse and analytics platform. So it increases analytical collaboration. It minimizes duplication of efforts and decreases time spent identifying broken processes. It increases staff efficiency. So that's inter and intra-department collaboration. It enables data sharing and governance. And it automates time-consuming tasks. And actually, and Laura, if we get questions in the chat because I had to close the side pane, so I won't see the chats come up because it was getting in the way of the side. So if you could just let me know if we get questions, if we need to take a pause.
Okay, yeah, I'll call it out.
Thanks. All right. So as we mentioned, Civis platform enables data teams to work more efficiently in a secure, shared environment. So that includes reporting. So allowing organizations to measure and report on the effectiveness of your campaigns, data warehousing. So consolidating and enriching your data, whether that be from membership lists, fundraising tools, or other CRMs to understand your audience. And then data governance and collaboration. So enabling secure cross-team collaboration with an up-to-date source of truth. So now we're going to talk about navigating Civis platform. We're going to dive into the main navigation menu, global search, data and project panes, the standard action menu, and the help widget. All right, so the main navigation menu is where you can access pretty much everything in platform. So you can access home, search, the query page, data for imports and exports, code. The code tab is where you'll access notebooks, scripts, and Civis Studio, tools for workflows and enhancements, publish for reports and services, admin, where you can access admin center, notifications for announcements, and your initials is where you can go for your profile and documentation. So with global search, the search bar allows you to search through all objects you have access to, and that's in the top left-hand corner. If you look at the image to the right, so you can search through all objects you have access to. You can filter results by type and author. You can also sort results by relevance, author, and created date. And you're also can tab through those pages of results. For the most effective search, we recommend searching for full phrases and including more rare terms. So, you know, the name of a project versus like import or export, just to make sure you're getting relevant results. Next is the data pane. So the data pane on the left displays the data that's in your database and that you have access to. So from the data pane, you can search for schemas and tables. You can also expand schemas to see tables. You can select the table names to view detailed information about the data in the table. You can also scan a schema or a table for updates. In the project pane on the left, by clicking on the folder icon, it shows you what projects you have access to in platform. And projects are folders in Civis platform that allow you to organize and store objects. So reports, scripts, workflows, and tables, things like that. You can also add notes and descriptions to projects. And you can also share projects and the objects within them and improve collaboration across teams. So personally, like with clients I work with, especially when they get a new team member that needs to get up to date on a project, it's very easy for them. They found it very helpful, should I say, when the organization has their projects organized in a way that has everything they need for a specific project that they're working internally on, and just having that organized and platform, it really helps the users get up to date with what's going on in platform. So now we're going to talk about the standard action menu. So the following features in the standard action menu apply to all platform objects. So imports, exports, scripts, workflows, and more. So first, you can share a platform object, and you can share either on the group level or the user level. And you can also specify the level of permission the group or user has. Notify, so you can make sure that the appropriate stakeholders are notified when a job succeeds or fails. Most likely, you probably just want to know when a job fails. We've all been there before when, a, a job that's powering a dashboard has been failing for like a week or two and no one knows. So with Notify, you can make sure the appropriate people know when something is failing and fixes it in a timely manner. So you're not looking at stale data. You can also automate. So you can select the granularity at which you want jobs to run, but you can run them on a cadence of, uh, monthly, weekly, daily, even down to every 15 minutes. You can clone a job. So if you're already working maybe on a script or something like that, you can clone a job and it'll copy all of the code or parameters, whatever you're working on, it'll make an identical copy of it. And that copy will be its own distinct object and platform. And you can also archive. So archiving a job will prevent the object from showing up in the search results. And just know that if you archive something, you can also unarchive it. So it's not a permanent action.
Hey Ryan, we have a question in the chat about the data pane. Wondering how to share in the data pane.
Wondering, can you elaborate?
I'm guessing about like how to share a table.
So to share a table in the data pane, well, you would, I guess you would have to, the user would need, usually to share a table, you would need to use a grant. So someone with the appropriate permissions would have to grant someone a permission on a table. So currently though, using the data pane, we don't support sharing directly from the data pane.
Yep, you'll have to run a query or add a query to your scripts to share tables. And then once you're in the data pane, if you look at the data details, you can see who has access to the table as well, which is a nice reference.
Yes. Thanks, Laura. All right, so next is user management. So Admin Center is a standalone page that allows users to view, edit, and manage users and groups within their organization. Just a note that org admins and group admins will have those additional permissions to create and edit users and groups. And here, this just allows those admins to just manage their team and platform and just making sure everyone is in their appropriate groups. You can unsuspend users if a user is suspended. But again, this is mainly useful for org and group admins. The help widget can be found at the top right of your screen in platform. And from the help widget, you can search through Zendesk articles for documentation on a wide array of topics. We have pretty good documentation, so I highly recommend utilizing that. So next, we're going to talk about imports and exports. So we're going to dive into credentials, common data sources, and the API. All right, so as we all know, if in order to export or import data, we need to authenticate against our systems, our source. So Civis platform credentials are an easy way to securely store and manage access information. Credentials allow you to connect to external sources such as database, Salesforce, Google, in order to successfully execute job runs in platform. You may need to create credentials when working with the following, so databases, Facebook, Google Analytics, Salesforce, and S3. Creating credentials in platform is relatively easy. So to create a credential in platform, you navigate to the admin tab and select credentials. You click new credential in the top right corner. And then so the exact requirements for the fields depend on the source or API you're connecting to. And if you do not see the service named in the credential type dropdown, you'll want to select custom. So once you created the credential, you can share those credentials. So from the menu on the top right of the credential details page, you'll select share, and you can specify the permission level for the user or the group. So now that we have our credentials saved in platform, we want to import or export data. So the following sources can be found under the data pane and platform. So databases, we offer database, file import and exports, Excel, Google Sheets, Google Analytics, Salesforce, SFTP sites, S3 buckets, mobile commons, HubSpot, and more. This isn't an exhaustive list. And one thing to note too, there are also some you can also access some imports, such as like imports from Van and whatnot, by going to code and clicking on more templates. So when you're importing from a database, under the source, you'll select the database and credential you would like to sync into your destination database. If it is the first time syncing data from a source database, you'll need to set it up using the new database button, and you'll fill out the JDBC URL, your username and password information, and click add. But also just a note, there might be some sources may have an extra layer of authentication. So we do support using certificates and things like that. So if you need any assistance with that, support is more than happy to help with configuring that. And then under the destination, you select the database and the credential that you would like to sync data into.
Ryan, we have another question in the chat. What does JDBC stand for?
Yes, so JDBC stands for Java Database Connection. And essentially it's just a common protocol to connect to a database.
Is it like webhook?
I'm not sure if I would compare it to webhook, but it's just a standard way of connecting to a database. So that way, no matter whether you're connecting to like Snowflake, Redshift, Postgres, they are kind of all follow that JDBC standard, and you just enter the parameters into that that JDBC string. And but yeah, hopefully that answers your question. All right. So next, we're going to talk about the Salesforce import and export. And the reason I just felt this is a very popular import that's used amongst our clients, so I just wanted to call it out. So there are 5 required parameters for the Salesforce import and export jobs and platform. So those are user credential, client credential, destination database credential, and the destination schema and table. And again, for some of these credentials, it does require some configuration on the Salesforce side, and our documentation outlines how you can do that. There are also optional parameters for the Salesforce import and export jobs and platform, so including Salesforce instance URL, Salesforce object, SQL query, and which is the custom. Thanks, Laura. Which is the custom SQL specific to Salesforce, and the incremental sync. All right, so you can search for additional templates and exports created by the Civis team in a few ways. So if you click on more imports or more exports under the data tab, that'll take you to other imports and exports that we have out of the box. And I mentioned this earlier. Also, if you go to code and then click on more templates, you'll also be able to see other templates that are, again, out of the box where you can use to import and export data from common sources. All right, so now we're going to talk about the API, or just using an API. So if you are unable to use one of our out-of-the-box imports and exports, you can also connect your database to external sources programmatically via an API. Usually clients will do this via like scripts or a notebook, which we'll talk about. We also have an API. So the Civis the Civis API is hosted at the link shown at the URL shown on the screen. And this is the prefix for all the endpoints. We also offer a Python and R API client. So it just makes it easier to utilize those same functionality of our API. And also, just so you know, like all out of the box imports and exports can be created and executed via the API. So if you want to do that programmatically, you are able to do that via the API. All right. So now that we have our data in platform, typically we want to analyze and transform that data. So we're going to dive into query, notebooks, scripts, workflows, and Civis Studio. So query directly interacts with your data using code in real time without leaving the Civis interface. You can also search and filter past queries by clicking on the history tab in the top right hand of the page. You also can click on settings to configure what credential you want to use. For like 99% of users, it's usually just one credential that they will be using. And you can also configure the number of preview results that are returned. As you can see in the image on the screen, the preview results, this query yielded 4 rows. So that was all that was returned, but you can select between anywhere between 10 and 1,000, I believe. You also have the option to format your queries. So if you're like me, when I'm writing SQL, it can get a little messy while I'm writing it. And then once I have everything working, if you click on this pencil icon here, it'll format it into a nice format. And then you can also open this query as a SQL script. And we'll talk about the generate SQL button. That's part of SQL AI, which we will talk about a little later. So not only can you view preview results, you can also quickly visualize your results by clicking on the graph tab. And you can select a chart. And this is really helpful for like when you're doing EDA. So you can do all that right within the query page without having to leave. So the current chart types that we offer are bar, line, and scatter. And you can also save that as a SQL report to share with your team at a later time if you would like. All right, so now that we've analyzed our data, now we want to start working on transformations. And for that, we'll use scripts. So, scripts enable users to query, modify, import, and export data in any language. So we offer Python scripts, R scripts, JavaScript scripts, SQL scripts, DBT scripts, and container scripts. So I'll say that other than DBT and container scripts, the other scripts look pretty much the same as the one that you're seeing on the screen. Just a blank body for you to enter your code. But DBT scripts and container scripts are a little different in that you have to, it's interacting with GitHub. So going to dive into that. So this here is a container script, and container scripts allows users to check out code from any GitHub repo. You can also run any code that you like on a dedicated server from within Civis. And we use Docker to create and maintain an environment in which your code will run. So again, if you're using, I don't know, Java or something, or a language that we don't offer like a native script, then container scripts are what you want to use, because it doesn't care about the code, the language, should I say. So you can have that code in your repo and it will run in platform. And next is DBT. So DBT is a popular tool for building data transformation pipelines in SQL. You can run your DBT pipelines via DBT scripts, either by themselves or as part of a larger workflow. And this tool requires you to connect your script to your Git repository. So for those of you that are familiar with DBT, like the run arguments and variables will be familiar to you, and you can select the DBT command that you want to run. But again, you can do this all within platform. Also, we have notebooks. So we support in-app Jupyter notebooks for R and Python. So users can leverage our Python or our API clients to interact with platform via notebooks, or you can build right through the platform UI. And our notebooks leverage the same documentation and GitHub controls. So, once you you created your jobs and your scripts, you can use workflows to kind of bring all those together and chain them together to create a workflow and platform. So workflows allow you to run multiple tasks in sequence to create a unified task structure and an end-to-end data analytics pipeline. This is entirely programmable through the visual drop and drag interface, but advanced users can use YAML to build and configure workflows. So using the drop and drag interface, you can do a lot with that, but using YAML, if you do know YAML, you can do more advanced things, building the workflows. But again, just the drag and drop interface is more than enough to also create powerful workflows and platform.
We have a question in the chat about support for Microsoft OneNote notebooks.
We do not support that, to my knowledge, but we always recommend users to submit a feature request. We're constantly, the technical success team works closely with the product and engineering, and we're constantly flagging feature requests that we get. So I recommend you submitting a ticket to support at Civis Analytics with that request. The more interest we know that we have in the feature, the easier it is to advocate for that. So thank you. All right. So now we're going to talk about Civis Studio. So Civis Studio is a secure virtual development environment built with the open source version of Visual Studio Code. It allows you to write, run, and commit code to GitHub. You can use it to edit multiple files, perform Git operations, and debug your code before productionizing it in a script or workflow. And it also includes a version of the open source Copilot chat extension. So I know for clients that I've worked with, there are some users who wanted to do like development using like an IDE, and they told me that Civis Studio like helped reduce that barrier because it was a little intimidating setting up a local development on their laptop, because you know, Civis, when you're using Civis Studio, we kind of do most of the work for you. So there are a few things you got to configure, but it definitely lowers the barrier. So if you're someone who has wanted to try development in an IDE, I highly recommend trying Civis Studio. And also for those who are used to doing work or development in an IDE, this is also a great way to use Civis Studio, so that way you're not having too much disruptions in your workflow, and it's very similar if that's what you prefer. All right, so now we're going to talk about Civis AI. So we'll talk about SQL AI Assist, Civis AI Taxonomer, and Civis AI Core. So SQL AI Assist is an AI-powered tool integrated directly into the Civis query tool and SQL report pages. It helps you craft SQL queries by offering smart, context-aware suggestions and automating parts of the process so you can spend more time analyzing data and less time writing complex queries. And it uses metadata from tables you've mentioned in your prompt. So this is one of those features where it can be useful to someone that's just learning SQL or not really comfortable with SQL, and also advanced users who have been using SQL for a long time. So I have clients on both ends of that spectrum, and they have found it helpful in that whether they're maybe a beginner in helping with learning SQL or just being more confident in the queries that they are running. And then for those advanced users, by saving time by just providing a prompt with what they wanted to do, and just save time with like writing all the SQL out. And even if like just getting like that base query and then maybe editing it themselves, but it saves time. So it's one of those features that's good for all varying levels of SQL users. So next we'll talk about Civis AI Core. So Core allows you to send text to a language model and receive responses. So answers to questions, labels for documents you want to categorize, or a summary of a collection of documents. You can choose from available models that are best suited to your use case. So you can select from models from Meta and Anthropic. And then we also have Taxonomer. And Taxonomer uses generative AI to categorize text. You only need to tell it where your data is and what categories you want to label the data with. And at the time of this, we recommend using the default model, but you also have the option to choose other models. And I know for Taxonomer, one of my clients, this has been very helpful for them in categorizing open text responses that they've gotten from surveys. They used to have to go through this manually and categorize these responses, or sometimes just it would be data that wasn't used because they just didn't have the capacity to do so. But with Taxonomer, they're able to create labels and then run that so they can categorize those responses. So this has been very helpful for clients that I've worked with. And also, I think it's worth noting that organizations do receive 1,000 free credits to use these tools. So highly recommend utilizing them, giving them a try. If you haven't, please don't let your free credits go to waste. All right, so now we're going to talk about data visualization. So, now that the whole purpose of, our data, we want to be able to, gain actionable insights from them, and we want to share those with stakeholders. And Civis platform offers several ways where you can do that. So a lot of clients use Tableau, so you can host Tableau reports directly in platform. So you can do that via uploading a report to our Civis managed Tableau server, or if your organization has their own Tableau server, you can publish directly to platform from there. We also offer HTML reports using custom HTML, SQL reports, which I talked about earlier. And we also have a Looker Studio connector for those of you that use Looker Studio. And it allows you to connect your Civis database easily to Looker Studio. And lastly, we also have services. So I will say that services do a lot more, and I'm just for the sake of talking about reporting and visualizations, I'm kind of oversimplifying it, but a service allows you to host your a custom web application and introduce interactivity into your data science workflow through useful front-end tools. And we support several frameworks, including R Shiny, Flask, and Streamlit.
Hey, Ryan, you have a question in the chat about Power BI.
Okay.
Just whether there's an option to connect to Power BI.
Currently, no, there's no option to connect directly. We don't have a connector for Power BI. But again, please submit a feature request if that's something you're interested in. Because I do know I know at least one client that I work with uses Power BI. So again, the more people that we know would like to use a certain service, the better. So please submit a ticket to support@Civis Analytics to request so. All right, so that is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for joining, and I would love to hear any additional questions or thoughts that people may have.
Are we going to get a copy of the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
This might be a dumb question, but I know this was kind of an overview of the various features and where they live and things that can be done. I'm a person who likes to learn by doing and touching, and I would love to not practice in an environment like in a live environment, right? Where like I don't want to commit things to my database as is, or like I don't know. Do you all have like a sandbox option where we can play around, or are there like, do you all offer like mini project idea, like not mini projects, but like options for going through the steps of learning the thing, but like not actually committing it and then seeing like this is what it should look like once you have done the thing correctly? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, I am one of those people too that I am a visual, or I like to play around with things too to understand it. But so we don't have a sandbox environment, but there are ways that you can play around in Civis without like affecting production things. So one way is maybe creating a schema, like a scratch schema or something like that, where you'll have like your dummy data that's not relevant, or that isn't relevant to like the production code, and you could play around with it like that. So making sure like it's not touching any data that the organization is using in production. You can also, if you're using like GitHub or something, create a branch so that way you're not pushing to main or anything like that. So I think, that's actually a good suggestion, and that's something that we can talk about, maybe like a document that kind of lays out how users can uh, play around and get that sandbox experience in platform, like some best practices. So thank you for flagging that.
Yeah, of course. Like specifically one thing that I'm trying to do that I have been tasked to do is like creating a table, right, in Civis, writing a query, having the table constantly update, and then pushing the results of that table to a survey question in every action van. Obviously, like it'll be hard to redact those survey question responses from the van side. Like if I did it correctly, then it will have to be redacted at some point. And so some way of being able to like test the feature without actually like having to do the thing would be really, really helpful. So I really appreciate you hearing me out.
Yep, sure thing. Yeah, it's been a while since I've used Van, but I will definitely I'll talk to the team and make sure we follow up with you on it. Any other questions or thoughts? All right, I'm not going to take that as a no. Well, again, thank you all for joining. We'll be sending the slides and the recording of this presentation to everyone that joined. So again, if you ever have any questions, please reach out to support@civisanalytics.com. There are no dumb questions. And again, we're here to help. So if if you are ever just have additional questions about a feature, maybe you want to get on a call and have like a more intimate training, or you can do that. So please, we're here to help you and get the most we're here to help you get the most value out of the platform. So please, we want you to reach out. We want you to ask questions. So yes.